You are listening to the BU Podcast with Michael Arrington. We discuss social justice, childhood trauma, current events, hip-hop, and so much more. Now, here's your host, Michael Arrington.
Yo, what's good? It's your man, Mike Arrington. It's the BU Podcast. We back again. I got a special guest today. His name is Adisa Banjoko, man. He is the founder of Bishop Chronicles. The podcast is on all your digital platforms. He also used to be the man, the myth, and legend of the Hip Hop Chess Federation. Good brother, man. We've been talking for years, man. Finally good to kind of just sit down and build with him. Proud of his rise, proud of his, everything that he's done. It's going to be a real good conversation, man. But I want to hit you guys with a little bit of words of wisdom when we get right back. But we are here, man. BU Podcast, Mike Arrington. Let's go.
You are listening to the BU Podcast with Michael Arrington.
BU Podcast. We here, man. I'm going to hit y'all with some words of wisdom. You might struggle to be authentic as an adult if you were criticized or judged as a child. Remember, it doesn't matter if they like you. It matters if you like you. Sometimes we tolerate bad behaviors in our relationships because we're confused about how much our worth is. So at this point in my life, right now, 47 years old, everything that I've been able to accomplish, I'm not negotiating my value with anyone. I'm worth it. I've been worth it. Will be forever worth it. That's what it is. BU Podcast. Let's get it in.
You are listening to the BU Podcast with Michael Arrington.
Yeah, man. We are back. BU Podcast. I'm with my man. We go way back. It's my man, Adisa Banjoko, man. Bishop Chronicles. He's the talent. He's the man, the myth, the legend behind it. He's the hip hop chess guru. Bro, I don't even remember how we met. I was telling somebody that I was interviewing you.
Good question.
And I was like, I don't remember exactly how we met. I just remember the first time we spoke, it was a brotherhood right off top.
Yeah. I think, okay, now, I'm only saying this because I actually believe it, right? But I think we met. Did you ever used to go to Hex's spot? Hex, he used to run the hip hop shop off Melrose.
Yes.
Okay, so when the Zulu Nation first kind of really started settling in LA, around the time of the LA riots, there was a meeting at Hex's shop. And like Crazy Legs come out. What happened is Rocka from Dilated and Evidence were there, but they were there as graffiti bombers. They were not yet dilated
yet, right?
I mean, and they were there, and I was one of the San Francisco Zulu chapter people speaking at that. So for some reason, I feel even if it wasn't then, it was during that time, right? Because I was in and out of LA a lot at that time. For some reason, that's how I tend to remember it in my brain.
And I think we reconnected during my hip hop Congress days too.
That's what it was then. It was Congress. There it is. That's why. Yeah. It was Congress.
So I think that's what it was with Shamako Noble and some of the folks in the Bay.
My man Shamak, man. In fact, funny story. Me and Shamako Noble are supposed to have a beatbox battle because he has the crazy idea that he's got skills like that. And I'm like, have a seat, bro. Like I've been beatboxing since 83. Do you hear me? 83.
Right.
Came up, man. I'm sorry, I can't be cursing, but
I'm
saying,
all good.
When I see you, be ready, dog. Don't say nothing when I see you. Just have your beats ready, dog. I'm coming.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me ask you this, man. Explain it to people first, man, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into some topics and questions, man.
So it's deep, right? Because I have to start with who I am, and then I can tell you who I was. I am a black belt jiu-jitsu instructor and a meditation teacher. I was, and I also do run Bishop Chronicles podcast, which you should subscribe to immediately on all major platforms, which is a podcast about resilience and the art of not quitting. However, before that, I spent more than half my life writing about hip hop. And I was a founder of the Hip Hop Chess Federation, which no longer exists, but had a really long run where we used music, chess, and martial arts to promote unity, strategy, and nonviolence. A lot of work in the juvenile halls in the Bay Area and then St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a museum curator. I curated the Living Like Kings exhibit at the World Chess Hall of Fame, which actually broke the first day opening of any museum. It broke Bobby Fischer's opening day attendance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it is the second most attended exhibit in the history of the World Chess Hall of Fame. And then that was in 2014. And then 2018, I was a guest curator for the Oakland Museum of California for a groundbreaking exhibit called Respect, Hip Hop Style and Wisdom that I did with Mike Realm and Susan Barrett. So I mean, you know, that's really my history. You know, I'm a pioneer hip hop journalist, you know, from the Bay, you know, probably the first person to ever write about NWA. Definitely one of the first people to interview Pac. I did early profiles on Master P, hieroglyphics, you know. I was the first person to write about Dell and the Source. And, you know, I have a really long, extensive history of that. But, you know, in recent years, you know, I got my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I teach Jiu-Jitsu at Ralph Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in San Jose and Santa Clara. And I also teach at University of San Francisco.
No doubt, man. Salute to you for all the great things you've done. I know you and I have connected on a lot of things, juvenile hall wise.
Sure.
I remember, man, you probably don't even remember, but I remember there was times, man, where you would call me in the morning on your way to work and just kind of just have ideas, or I'd call you on my way to work.
I do remember those.
Time,
I do
just kind of, you know, swap ideas, man, and sharpen iron, man. So I appreciate those days. But in regards to that, man, talk to me about your work with the school to prison pipeline, or just your ideologies of it, man, and then what you feel like can be done, if anything, to dismantle it.
Well, I think that, you know, so I'll start with the first part. So the way they got started in juvie was I wrote an independent book called Lyrical Swords, Hip Hop and Politics in the Mix. I think this would have been possibly 2003, maybe. Yeah, it had to be 2001, 2002, maybe. So when that came out, I ended up getting some press in the Chronicle, and a woman called me and invited me to go to the San Francisco Juvenile Hall. So I went to the juvie, and when I went in, there were a bunch of kids, all races, but mostly black. And it was really for a career day. So they wanted me to come talk about journalism, right? You know, what does it mean to be a writer, whatever. But when I got in there, bro, I consider myself a pretty good public speaker. I was bombing. I think the other part of it was they just didn't care, bro.
Right.
They wanted to hear. They was like, yo, have you ever interviewed Eminem? No. Snoop? Yes. JT the Bigger Figure? Yes. Too Short? Yes. They didn't care about like actually being a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like they had no one in the room had interest in that shit. And so the day before, I had bought a chessboard for my son, and I had a backpack, a Mutant Ninja Turtle backpack, and I had a board. So I said, okay, I'm only 15 minutes in, man. I'm supposed to do this for like an hour and some change. It's not going to work. So I was like, yo, who in here knows how to play chess? Bro, 85% of the kids was like, whoa. I'm looking at black, Latino, Samoan, Tongan, straight killers, man. Gangsters, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. Because I thought I was going to waste the time teaching them, right? That was my plan. I'm going to teach y'all chess. Now everybody knows. So I'm like, okay. Second question. Who here thinks they're dope? Like, don't keep your hand up if you're not raw. I want to know who the killers in this room are on these boards. You know what I'm saying? And then a bunch of hands go down. But a few hands stay up. I said, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a tournament. Everybody who wins a match, I'm going to give a book. I'll sign a book and give you a book. And they're like, all right, cool. So First match, 2 black dudes, youngsters going head to head. So then this dude's about to move his queen, and this white kid's like, "Don't move your queen." And he's like, "Shut up, white boy. Ain't nobody asked your punk ass about this queen." Puts it down, lose the queen. Everybody's like, "Oh!" Now white dude now has status in the situation. Now they're like, "We gotta listen to white dude. He knows how to keep your queen from getting took." Right? When I first asked who's the best, the dude who refused to put his hand down was this kid in the back who probably weighed 300 pounds, even though he was in high school. He was absolutely gigantic. So I was like, "Who's the best?" He's like, "I'm the best." And it was like, "Shut up, fat boy. Ain't nobody, this ain't no sandwich eating contest, nigga." You know, everybody starts laughing at him. Even I'm laughing at him. I'm breaking character. I'm laughing at him. I'm like, "Hey, chill out, blood, chill out. It's not cool. Okay. We're not fat shaming. What, are you the best?" He's like, "I'm the best." And through the course of the day, he did beat everybody. And I saw how the whole hall changed in their respect for him.
Right.
I saw how the hall changed for respect for the white kid who's in the racial minority in this hall. Now he's got status. We got, you know what I'm saying? Greg knows what's up, man. So what's up, Greg? You know what I'm saying? So when I'm leaving, I said, "Wait a minute. You just saw the whole pecking order in the hall shift because he was good at chess, and you saw the racial dynamic shift because the white kid was good at chess." So I said, "But if they play chess," and I'm talking to myself as I walk out of the hall.
Right.
I'm like, "But if they play chess, why are they making bad decisions that got them in the hall?" And I stopped cold in my tracks. And it was literally like I got hit with lightning. And I was like, you have to use hip hop to teach them about chess so that they'll want to learn about chess. And then you use the chess to teach them about life. Like I stopped on the stairs and I was like, hip hop chess. And then I went home and I started it.
That's super dope, man. Super. That I didn't know, but I knew about it because you and I have talked about using some of those tactics in the juvenile hall down in Southern California. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, you're how I met RZA.
Yeah.
Who you? So, so in Oakland or in the Bay, as it is down in SoCal, the school system is more or less set up to direct and funnel kids to a certain aesthetic, either prison or being involved in kind of law enforcement contact. Sure. And when using hip hop as an influence, back when we were coming up, it was a thing, right? You had self-destruction and you had the Black Watch movement and you had those
KRS, Brand Nubian, you know what I'm saying?
Teachers, you had a lot of, people. That's how I kind of learned. That was my first introduction to Afrocentricity, if I'm
right,
honest, right. And so you juxtapose that to today's music, is there even room for something like
that? It's pretty ignorant. So I think the answer is yes. I mean, first, because of a donation of RZA, one of the HHCF satellite programs at the juvenile hall in St. Louis is actually still functioning. It has no funding, but what it is the guy who we trained there, a guy named Mike Wessam. Shout out to Mike and all the youngsters in the hall over there in St. Louis. He never left and he kept it going, right? So he kept the program alive even now, even though the org doesn't exist technically, that program is still thriving in St. Louis in juvie. That's right. Dope. So they teach chess and life strategies without me. I'm not even there ever. You know what I'm saying? Right. The thing is that hip hop has shifted because of the industry, but there's always this thing between the rap industry and the culture. And I believe that in the culture, there are lesser known rappers who are still dope and intellectually stimulating. So I work right now with a group called Rhythmic Mind, right? And what they do is they help heal PTSD of incarcerated kids through hip hop ciphers, because some of the research they did